Yeah, okay. Today we will agrarian law during Dutch colonialism. Before you must sign your presence using the barcode because I haven't seen one of you doing the sign. Please don't forget to sign using the barcode and using your gateway.
So you don't see the barcode?
Oh, you cannot see?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. Later after this presentation. Okay. So agrarian law. We start meeting class day 3, 4, and 5. So during these 3 days, today and 2 days tomorrow, we will learning on agrarian law during the Dutch colonialisms and agrarian law after independence and agrarian law after UUPA, or we can call BAL, Basic Agrarian Law. We will divide into 3 days because it will be, I will define, or I will teaching slowly. So I hope that you will know. So I will divide these 3 matters into 3 days. In this day, we will knowing on agrarian law during Dutch colonialism. Okay. Okay, this is the picture. We can see the pre-independence period. Maybe for Balogun and for Miran, you have to know also the story of Indonesia first, because it is quite related with our history. Also the pre-independence period. So if we learning on the periods or the development of agrarian law, we will divide into at least 3 steps or 3 periods. The first one during the Dutch colonialisms, and then after independence, and after UUPA or BAL, Basic Agrarian Law. The Dutch colonialism, at least it is starting in 1870. It is because of the enacted of Agraris Wet, and then the other is after independence, which is Indonesian independence in 17th of August 1945, and then after UUPA or BAL, because this law is enacted in 24 September 1960. This is because I already mentioned in previous that BAL is enacted in 1960. Yeah, you still remember? Okay, still remember, yeah. So this is at the short picture on how the Dutch colonialisms coming to Indonesia, they colonize and taking some of the natural resource, etc. in Indonesia. Because Balogun and Miran, I think you have to at least know our story, and some maybe in the next meeting you can try to give the story of your country on land law or in history also. Yeah, maybe I will find another meeting class. I will give the chance for Balogun and Miran to describe on how agrarian law in your country. So this is the at least how the scenery around 1870. And also if if we divide more the pre-independence period, at least we will got five steps or 5 period. The first one is agrarian sweat. It is in 1870, and then UUPA or BAL in 1960, and then after that we found a period because in Indonesia we enacted a rule of land registration in 1961. After that, 30 years later, we enacted a new land registration in 1997. And after that, or so on, we enacted a new land law, which means in pertanahan, or it is in a land law. So it is if we divide more, but the small one we can divide into 3 in the colonialisms, independence, and after basic agrarian law. But this is to make more details on how is the step of the period. Okay, so the characteristics of colonial agrarian law. At least there are 4 the characteristic of colonial agrarian law. The first, it is against the interest of the people because they are coming to Indonesia to take our resource, to take our the benefit of our land. So it is against the interest of the people. Also in the characteristic during the colonial agrarian law, we found it is the dualisms between the customary law and also the colonial law, or we can call the Netherlands law, Netherlands or Dutch law. So during that period, beside people from Indonesia and also people from the Netherlands, they using a dualism agrarian law. That's why the characteristic is dualism. And then the other one is doesn't guarantee the legal certainty. This means that during the agrarian law, they didn't recognize all the land ownership that owned by the civil from Indonesia or or people from Indonesia. And then the land registration during the colonial agrarian law, it is only for fiscal cadastre, or it is only, the function of legal registration is not providing the legal certainty, but only for taking the tax, taking the money from the people for the colony to get the money and etc. Yeah, you understand from here? Okay, yeah. Okay. And then the political characteristics of colonial agrarian law. At least there are 4 political characteristics. Previous we talking about the characteristics, and then the next we telling on political characteristic. We found at least there are 4. The political characteristics, it is a domination, exploitation, discrimination, and dependency, because people depend on Dutch government and colonialism. This is the example of the flag of during the colonialism. They coming to Indonesia because they before we using the name of Indonesia, we using the name is Hindia Belanda in Indonesia, but or in English we know it as Netherlands East Indies. Yeah, our previous country name during the colonialism, and this is the flag during the colonialism. This is mentioned VOC. It means Verenigd Oost Company. This is one of the biggest company during the colonialisms from Netherlands. And then, okay, we come to the definition of domination. Yeah, the political characteristic in that time, this means that the power of the minority, the colonialists, over the majority indigenous population is supported by the military superiority of the colonialists in controlling and ruling the inhabitants of the earth. At that times, although all the colony, they coming here as a minority, but they taking a military superiority to controlling and ruling all the regulation related to the agrarian law. It is not only controlling, it is not only ruling, but using the benefit of our land. And then the second characteristic, it is exploitation. It makes sense with the first one, domination, because the exploitation of the natural resource for the benefit of the colonizers, the indigenous population is extort from their labor and production to be handed over to the colonialists, who are then sent to their mother country for their own prosperity. So all the indigenous people or Indonesian people during that time, they forced by all the colony to providing more benefit from the land of the country. It is something like our people are forced to plan something, planting something benefits lah for Netherlands. And after that, after they get if after they get the benefit, they take that all the benefit to their country to come to the Netherlands. That's how the exploitation in that time. Then the other one is discrimination. The colonialist group is considered a superior nation, while the colonized natives are seen as an inferior, low, despicable nation. This is might be same because the colonialist group they pretend as the superior nation. They come into here, while the people from Indonesia, they seen as an inferior, low, despicable nation. They didn't have much knowledge or experience, etc. And then dependency. People dependence on colonizers. It means that the colonized people become increasingly dependent on colonizers. So people in Indonesia, they becoming increasingly dependent on colonizers in terms of capital, of technology, of knowledge, of skills also, because they are getting weaker and poorer. So at that time, Indonesian people, we are too dependent with all the Netherlands, because all the technology they take it, all the knowledge we got from them or something. So it's we still cannot be dependent at that time. This is the rules that applicable at the time during the colonized, during the Dutch colonialism. This is only a few, but there are a lot actually. This is some that related with the agrarian. There are reglement, agrarisch wet, in this Gestaltregelung, agraris Beschluit, confirm agraris recruitment, etc. And then also the book number 2 of the Civil Code. I think you have to download also this kind of the rules, yeah. Although it is not using again by today, but it is to know at least how is the agrarian law period during the Dutch colonies. And also this is the book number 2 of the Civil Code. This is also, I think you have to download to find the difference between the agrarian law past and the recent. Also during that time we know as Kulturstelsel. Kulturstelsel, it means that the existence of the Kulturstelsel led to a decline in the welfare of the natives, so that it received criticism from the Dutch liberal and humanist groups. The victory of the Liberal Party in 1850, the ruling government issued a new law that was deemed clearer to the people. Okay, we go to the picture first. This is the example of how the Netherlands, how they coming to Indonesia, they force our people to plant all the what we say, yeah, like herbs, like a spice or something like that, to send to the Netherlands because they force. But beside that, because in Netherlands people, they also have a lot of parties and a lot of also something like something like the groups lah. Some they are from a humanist groups, some of they are from liberal groups, and then in around 1850 they found that the existence of Kulturstelsel, this is not so humanist, and also that's why inside of another people from Netherlands, because at that time 1850 it is the victory of the Liberal Party, so they want to not to want to use this Kulturstelsel again. So this is during the colonial period, the Netherlands East Indies applied a domain verklaring, or the principle of domain, which was stated among others in Article 1 Agraris Beschluit that promulgated in the State Gazette Stadblad number 118 of 1870. What does it mean, domain verklaring? So domain verklaring, it means that, because it is nouns from the Dutch, but it means that all land that is completely free from one's rights, it is considered to be Friesland's domain, or it means that namely lands that are fully owned and controlled by the state. So at that time, that if the land it is not recognized or not owned by the indigenous people in Indonesia by customary law, so it means that those land is fully owned and controlled by the states. States means that it is owned by the Netherlands. So that's why it is really hard for the people, because they hard to own a land. But in the other side also, the Dutch colony, they make a new rule, which means domain verklaring, which are all the lands that not owned by indigenous people. It means that it is owned by the state of Netherlands. Okay. And then the legal dualism. Okay, the legal dualism, colonial agrarian law has the nature of legal dualism. This we already mentioned before. During the colonial agrarian law, they applied to agrarian law. That's why we know it as legal dualism or pluralism, because they recognize a customary law and Western law. Western law means that the law from the Dutch colony, and customary law, it means that law from all the indigenous people before Indonesia independence. This is the short animation or short picture of during that times. This is the names before the previously the Netherlands is Indies. So Indonesian names before is the Netherlands is Indies. And then this is the map of Indonesia before, but it means the map of the Netherlands Indies. Legal dualism. So during the colonial period, customary land rights were not registered. Although they were registered, it is only for the proof of payment of tax that had been paid by the owner, so that legally it was not a proof of rights. So during that times, only land that it is owned by the colony which are registered. So all the land that owned by the indigenous people or people from Indonesia, the colony will not register it. Even they register, it is only for the proof of the payment for the taxes. It means for the fiscal cadastre. So they only register because they want the money, because they want the tax. Yeah, that's why it is very different between how they treat the land for this colony and land for the indigenous people. That's why we can find how to say, ways. It is like not balanced, like unbalanced or some things between the land for colony and land for the Indonesian people or for customary land rights. Okay, dualistic and pluralistic. Okay, because at that time we not only see the dualistics, but we also see the pluralistic during the colony, because we found the customary agrarian law, but we also found there is a Swapraja agrarian law. So Swapraja agrarian law, it is something like sultanates, kingdoms, etc. that recognized by the colonial government. So during that time, there is a sultanate, there is a kingdom in Indonesia, in East Indies, but at that time the colony also recognized them. Colony also accept them to be developed, but not independence. Yeah, they accept them as a sultanate, as a kingdom that they have their own rule. That means Swapraja agrarian law. So inside of the sultanate's land, inside of the kingdoms of land, they can and they have an own agrarian law. It names Swapraja. I don't know in Nigeria or in Pakistan. Do you have kingdoms in your country? inside of your country? No, yeah.
No, sir.
No. So you
Kingdom like Jogja, right?
yeah, like Jogja.
No, okay.
Yeah, because in Indonesia we still recognize some sultanates, some kingdoms. Yeah, the close example is Jogja. Until now, we still found Yogyakarta as a kingdom. I mean, like as a sultanate or something like that. And then during that time, we found the pluralistic. It means the Western agrarian law, civil code. It is an agrarian that bring by the Dutch colony. Yeah, and then during that time also they found there is an agrarian law between groups. So it is really complicated during that time because they find at least 5, and this one is agrarian law between groups. So between the Eastern people, between the European people, and also between the indigenous people, they have different rules of agrarian law. And then the administrative agrarian law, it means that because that at the time there is an administrative or something, so that's why it's so complicated, so pluralistic of the regulation of the law. This is the example of the customary agrarian law. It calls Badui, so they living in the an area that they recognize as an indigenous land or customary land, something, because so they have their own rule, they have their regulation and how to take the benefit to the land or something. This is the example of the sultanates and the kingdoms in Indonesia. There are so many. I also forgot how many of the sultanates, but this is still recognized by today. Later we will discuss on the lands, because lands related to the kingdom El Sultanate, because previously even it is still recognized, but actually we have UUPA or BAL. It means that another ownership before the UUPA must be converted to UUPA, but this is later in the next meeting. So this is the example of the various of the sultanate or the kingdom. And then this is also one of the example in Yogyakarta. They have their own rule, they have their own land, extra. That's why we still recognize the Swapraja. Okay, we coming back to agraris Swet. So during the colony, they have a laws that names agraris Swet 1870. This is one of the laws that made in the Netherlands in 1870. It tells more in land management and regulation during the reigns of the Netherlands East Indies. But actually, this regulation was the political foundation of the Netherlands East Indies government in the land sector, which prioritized the interests of Dutch businessmen. So at that time, because they want more Dutch businessmen coming to East Indies, to Indonesia, that's why they make one of the agrarian law that can accept and welcoming all the businessmen from Dutch. And then this is Agraris Swet was born at the insistence of big private entrepreneur. So the existence of agrarian make it easier for Dutch entrepreneur to do business in Indonesia, such as the granting of ERPA rights with a period of 75 years. So during that times, they make a regulation that all the Dutch businessmen can have a cultivation rights, or like building rights, so on, but with a long term of period, something like 75 years. It is a really long time, yeah, because it means like 75 period, it means almost like 2 generations, right? So that's why it is really unbalanced, and how to say,
Tidak.
How to say, with something like unfair lah. Okay. Sometimes I forgot the nouns. Okay. Yeah, that's why 75 year it is very unfair lah at that time. But actually, because they are coming here to colonize the Indonesia, that's why they make how the easier way to take more benefit from Indonesia. That's why it is not. It is started as the enacted of the Agraris Act 1870. This is the picture of Agraris Act. So Agraris Act, it is used during 1870 until 1960. So it is almost 90 years. It's quite long. The use of this regulation, but now it is not used again. Yeah, in the next we will discuss. Yeah, this is the one of the agrarian law during the colonialism. 19 years, it is quite long. Agraris Act 1870. It is community-owned land that cannot be proven by ownership's document is declared as state land. This is what we discussed before. So all the land that they cannot prove the ownerships, so it means that that land is declared as the state land. State land means that the land for the colony, or that owned by the colony. So it is really unlawful, really unfair, because at that time some of our people, they have a low education on registering the ownerships. They didn't have the access, on how to registering. So, but in the other side, because of the Agraris Act 1870, they have one of the rules that means that all the community owned land, or all the land that not owned by the people, it means that the state, the Dutch government arbitrarily determine an activity on area with very low or no respect with community of land, and then the Dutch government could sell public land to the private sector as private land. This is the really dangerous at that time, because the colony, they pretend to sell the public land, to sell the land of Indonesia as a private sector, like they own themselves the land. So during that times, they selling the land to the Dutch businessmen, to other country or something. They pretend the lands, it is something like the private sector or private land. The others also, beside agraris wet, we also known agraris specialist. Agraris specialist, it is the implementing regulation of agraris wet. Yeah. So agraris wet is the main of the regulation, and then agraris specialist is the implementing regulation. It is same because in the Article 1 of agraris specialist, it states that all lands which other parties cannot prove, it means as a domain, yeah, or owned by the state. So in Netherlands nouns, they call it domain. So all that the land that cannot be proven the ownership, so they said that all land is a domain or owned by the states. Yeah, this is domain verklaring. Yeah, as a legal basis for the government as the owner of the land to give land to the parties, for the party, especially das entrepreneur. This is what we telling before. And then the granting of land is carried out by transferring state property rights to the recipients of the rights. So this is the the wrong control for the states during the colonialism, because actually the right to control the land by the states, it is not like that sample, not like that activities. It doesn't mean that the state have a right to sell the land to businessmen or something like that, yeah, with the long term or something. But the state is only have the arrange the relation, the authority, something like we telling before. But during the colonialisms, it is they have their own perception that the state's control of the land, it means that the states have the full of the ownerships of the lands. This is really different between the agrarian law during the independence, or before the independence and after the independence. Okay, this is the states as a legal subject is equated with individual rights in terms of ownerships of land rights. Yeah, this is what we say, that the state as they pretend to be wrong because they pretend as a legal subject that equated as an individual rights in terms of ownerships of land rights, because the relationship is private rights, so the state is considered the owner of the land. And then, okay, so before that, any question so far? Any question related to all this discussion on agrarian law during Dutch colonialism? On these 3 days, we will learn more into this one. First one, we already telling on agrarian law during colonialism. The next one we will learning on after independence, and the next one we will learning on UUP or BAL. Any question before during colonialisms? Or you already know? Yeah, okay. I think you all already understands, yeah, because that's history of Indonesia. How about in Nigeria? You already, how is the history? Can you tell us the short one first? In Nigeria, are you colonized by another country before or something?
Yeah, We were colonized by the British.
Yeah, by British. Yeah. Okay. So far, are you still implementing the regulation by British?
Yes, most of it.
Yes. Almost all.
Yeah, almost also.
Okay. Yeah. Later we can make a discussion on Nigeria land law. Yeah. How about Pakistan, Miran?
We also colony of used to be colony of British, and having still some sanction that were implemented in British colony system. Still, we have these.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the regulation also you still adopt all
yeah.
the British.
Some of them like regulation about the criminal law is from 18th century, 1870. I think from British we adopted.
Okay. Yeah. So Nigeria also using torrent system, yeah? Is it? Are you? Do you know relating that one? Do you using torrent system in your country?
I don't know, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Later we can discuss. Yeah. Any question? The others so far relating to our discussion? If not, so I will give you assignment. It is already 5. Yeah. So our class is finished at 5. Yeah. Is it right? I found schedule. Is it right? How about in your?
You have 5.
Yeah, at 5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the assignment. Okay. I want you to describe agrarian law after independence. Okay. Please find first how agrarian law in Indonesia after the independence, and then describe agrarian law after UUPA or basic agrarian law, and then find the main difference on agrarian law during the Dutch colonialisms, after independence, and after enacted of BAL, basic agrarian law. Okay. If you already found, make a resume, and then student presents the finding on tomorrow Friday. Yeah, the minimum is 5 minutes, or you can go to more in 10 minutes or more. Again, is still okay. In Friday, 18 March 2022. And then after all, you give your idea, you give your discussion, then we can discuss again, and I will explain more on this. Yeah, this period of independence, period of UUPA, or period during the Dutch colonialism. Okay, I think for Balogun and Mira, because you are from other country, just try to just try first, yeah, and make your best. Previously, because I already saw your resume, I think you also good at that time, although you are foreigner, but you can do good resuming, yeah. And also the others, I didn't found you are doing the assignment, only Balogun, Andi, ya. Andi, I think Andi and Miran, yeah. For others, you have to make this assignment, and in the next Friday, you have chance to present 5 to 10 minutes or more, yeah, related to this discussion. Okay, understand, students?
So,
Okay, yeah. Okay, Farhan, this is your first time, yeah, joining the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, before you have to introduce first yourself to friends, your names, and yeah, where are you from, the city or something, and are you now in Yogyakarta? Okay.
Okay. My name is Farhan Ronaldo, and I am from Pekanbaru, and I'm currently in Jogja. Yeah.
Okay, you stay with your family or in dormitory?
I'm in a boarding house, course right now.
Okay, okay, yeah. So today only Andi, Noval, Miran, oh Noval joining ya. Okay. Noval, I think in previous meeting you also not coming ya. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please introduce also to your friends.
So my name is Novel Bakasi. And now
Sorry, we cannot hear.
my name is Novel Akbar. I'm from Bekasi.
Bekasi.
Yes.
Okay, so you are in Jogja now or in your city?
No, sir, I'm still at Bekasi because the pandemic still
Okay, yeah. So you plan to come into Jogja?
after midterm.
Okay, in midterm, yeah. Yeah, okay. So today only Talita not joining.
Sorry,
Anyone?
sorry.
Yeah.
About Talita, she replied my message, and she said he forgot agrarian class.
Forgot.
Yeah. How
Oh,
about if she join right now or next class?
yeah, no problem.
It's okay if she join right now. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Actually, it is, the regulation is only 25 minutes, but it's okay. I think, yeah. Yeah, if now she's available, then she can join first. In the first meeting, because I didn't invite her because the system, yeah, is not stable. But I think it is not our fault because we already informed to all the students. Yeah. Okay. She's joining. Okay. Yeah. So the assignment must be complete on Friday. Yeah. You can make the resume, upload to the Google Classroom. You present first, and then after you send to. No problem. Okay. Okay. Where is Talita? So all is in the same class in another subject, is it? Or this is only the same class here?
I think we have different class with my family. Farhan and Naufal are in some. We are in same class.
Okay.
Inside that.
Yeah. If that, so I mean you are familiar, yeah. Okay. So if the class started and you found your friend is not coming, please invite them to joining. Yeah, because this is actually second day that Talita not joining because we only have at maximum 6. Yeah, to not joining the class. if you late or you're not coming to class more than 6, it means you are not achieve 75% to joining the midterm exams and final exams. Okay. So Talita joining, not?
She said want to join. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, so now it's already 5. I think how is time in Nigeria now, Balogun? What time is it?
Right now, it's 11 a.m.
11 in the morning, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So it is not disturb you, not in the night. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all because we already learning on agrarian law during the Dutch colonialisms, and you have no questions. So I think it means that you already understands. Okay, this is understand the subject, and then you have to finish the assignment for the next meeting. Yeah, prepare the best. Okay, Talita.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah. So why you didn't joining the class?
Because saya tuh dari kemarin, saya tuh pasca operasi kan, sir. Terus saya harus bolak-balik buat daftar MRI. Terus saya juga kadang lupa kalau misalnya ada kelas gitu, sir. Soalnya saya kadang pulang udah sore gitu. So I'm so sorry, sir.
Okay. So how about another class? You also not joining?
I'm joining kok, sir. Aku tinggal 2 kelas lagi, 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will type you here as present. Yeah. But the next one, you have to joining the class full of the class because it is matters because you only have 6 time to not joining the class. Yeah, the minimum is 75%. Okay, so for the next meeting we have the assignment. Please you take it and you find it in the classroom. Yeah, the classwork. Yeah, Google Classwork. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thanks for the students, and yes, keep safe, yeah, and don't do good, yeah. Keep your good in study so you can achieve all the A in subject also in agrarian law. Okay, I think that's all for today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please share the slide in the
Thank you, sir.
Google Class.
Yeah, okay, thank you.